Camp.
Here.
Wiley, second.
Here. Thank you, Phyllis. You were all emailed a copy of our minutes from our August 20th meeting. If anyone has any amendments to those minutes, let it be expressed. If not, look for a motion to approve those minutes.
Here. So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes from August 20th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Earlier this afternoon, people from Michael Kinder and Sons, people from the Bradley Company, who's, I believe, a company that is going to develop a business here, and also, help me out here, Justin Wolf, representing NK Holdings. They were given the approval to rezone the last parcels of what was the Cottonwood Estates. It's that northwest northernmost portion. There's 4 or 5 little segments of parcels there, wanting to rezone that from a R1 to a C3, and the Plan Commission okayed that. Then they also okayed vacating an alley.
No, that's coming up.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're still in the same meeting, right?
No. Okay. Plan Commission is making a recommendation to rezone lots 682, 683, 684, and 685 in the McConaughey subdivision, which is the remaining parcels that Mr. Koss owns. And so there will be an ordinance to vacate the alley that runs between 2 of those lots. As a second matter, and that's before council tonight. There's a public hearing scheduled, so we need to go out of this meeting into the public hearing, and then after we close the public hearing, you'll have 2 ordinances, one to rezone the property and the second to vacate the alley.
Yep. That's where I was trying to go with all this. So at this point, I would look for a motion to is it not close, but suspend the city council meeting and open a public hearing.
So moved.
Is that a motion and a second to suspend the city council meeting and open a public hearing? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're now in a public hearing. Justin Wall's here on behalf of Nick Koss. The other 2 entities that have stakes in this are not present, and they said they wouldn't be. That's okay. So go ahead, Justin. Describe the whole thing to us again.
Mayor, as you had outlined, there's a small alley, there's a platted city alley that runs parallel with 13th Street that runs between the 2 parcels that NK Decatur Holdings
You bring that up?
still owns. That particular 0.9 acres and change is currently owned by my client, NK Decatur Holdings, and we're under a purchase agreement with ProFed Credit Union, who desires to purchase that property and relocate their bank branch from across the street to this new area. As part of them being able to build on this particular site, they need to have that city alley, platted alley, vacated in order for them to have enough real estate, basically, to lay out their new bank branch and parking and facilities and whatnot. So part of the purchase agreement was, along with getting the property to rezone, was to have that alley officially vacated. So the purpose of the public hearing tonight, and notice has been published in the paper, legal description is provided to council, for city council and city of Decatur regarding the legal description for that property, was to formally vacate that particular alley. And I would note, we're requesting that particular alley be vacated conditioned upon this particular purchase agreement going to closing and fruition and ProFed becoming the deeded owner of those 2 parcels. That way, in case that deal were to fall through, the alley would remain in existence, but at least legally the hurdle has been overcome, and that is there ready to go should they go forward and close this particular transaction. They're in process right now completing their due diligence as required in terms of purchase agreement in order to satisfy environmental study and other construction studies related to developing that site, but procedurally we're here before the council tonight to vacate that small portion of the alley.
I didn't get it from the proof of publication.
Are there any utilities under that alley, Don?
The only thing was for the trailer park.
And if there is, it doesn't terminate the, any public utility improvements in the alleyway. Those remain, and the vacation is subject to that, and that's by law.
Before we go any further, I'd like to make the notice of advertisement a matter of record.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the advertisement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Can we do that when we're out of?
In the public hearing?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
Since this is part of the public, so that's what it was for, is to advertise the public hearing.
Vacate that alley, I assume they're vacating that alley to build on top of that alley.
Right.
Yeah. If there's utilities there, they're going to have to address that, so.
We're not aware of any, there's a main sewer line that runs sort of the back part of the property, and I believe there are utilities that run perpendicular to 13th Street that would come off of the two main ingress and egress alleys, entrance ways that would service the old mobile home park. Anything that runs besides this, underneath this short alley, should be just servicing pedestal to pedestal. That would have been servicing the mobile homes themselves when they were in existence. But we're not aware of any. We are aware of one major sewer line that's or water line that's in the back part of the park that Mr. Heck now owns.
Yeah, I think we had a main break on there not too long ago. Questions for Mr. Wall? I'm glad to see that the sale moving forward. The question was asked at the Plan Commission meeting by Kurt. You see the one entrance going into there, tagged mobile home park on there. You know, what if NDOT doesn't okay that as the point of entry? And Justin said that's all a contingency of the sale.
Part of the purchase agreement was that their developer was looking into any kind of NDOT approvals that may be necessary to approve and bless their site layout and plan and things of that sort. But that's a 24-foot wide ingress-egress curb cut that services that entire mobile home lot and also services the existing tech trailer sales site. One would think that would be sizable enough to accommodate the capacity of a bank branch if it accommodated a very large unit mobile home park at one point in time that had a lot of residents and facilities living there at one point in time.
I think we all agree with you. It just will end on. Comments, Tim?
The only thing, Mr. Wall, then, what you're saying is, if for some reason the deal fell through, that you would not want the alley to be vacated?
No, not at this point in time, because that potentially could hinder future development or sales.
Okay, so probably what we would do is do the approval, but we would not record the ordinance
That would be fine until the deal is
completed.
And then we would have, you know, if the deal did fall through and we had another prospective buyer, we could approach the council at that point in time and revive it.
Do they have a period of time in which to...
Yeah, there is a definitive period of time for due diligence. I can't recall, I think it was 60 or 90 days after the consummation of the purchase agreement with another 30 days to extend. I think they have another 60-plus days with the extension due. I know they're doing soil testing this week to see about buildability on that particular site. So my guess is they want to get this going as soon as possible.
So what we could do is, if the council approves the vacation, we would just hold the ordinance and not record it until you give us the green light that the contingencies have been met, and then we'll record it, because once we record it, ownership is going to revert from the middle of the alley to the two lots. You're going to need that then to convey that to ProFed at a closing, so we'll do it that way.
Any questions from the public?
Any questions from the public, department heads, anyone? One comment I'll make, just to kind of, maybe for the media's sake more than anyone, as after the Plan Commission meeting tonight, as everyone was leaving, I talked to the two gentlemen that were here representing the contractors and architects, and I said I was kind of surprised to see ProFed wanting to move just basically across the street. And they said that basically the reason they're wanting to do that is because the building that they're in now, they're just leasing that building, they don't own it. So this would give them ownership of a building, and so it's all good. With that, any other comments on the public hearing? If not, I'd look for a
Motion to
motion.
close the public hearing?
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Motion to reopen that.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to reconvene the council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so, Tim, we're
Okay.
going to do the rezoning first.
Yes. So what we'll do is, you have presented to you a certification from the Decatur Plan Commission acknowledging that the Plan Commission is recommending that the rezoning be approved by council as requested by the applicant. So first I would have that made a matter of record.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Does this go to Phyllis? Or does
Yes.
this-
That goes to Phyllis. Okay, then I have the ordinance that rezones the 4 lots from R1 to C1. It's ordinance number C3, I'm sorry. R1 to C3. And the ordinance is ordinance 2019-9. So I would entertain a motion to introduce that ordinance by short title only. And I would also request that on third reading, you suspend the rules and approve the adoption this evening as well.
I'll make a motion then to place ordinance 2019-9 on its first reading by short title only.
Second. Motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-9 and its first reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-9, short title, an ordinance amending Chapter 150 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as amended for the purpose of rezoning real property.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-9 on its first reading.
Second. Motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-9 on its first reading. I would have roll call vote. Phyllis?
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sirk.
Yes. I'll make a motion to place ordinance 2019-9 on its second reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-9 on its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-9, short title, an ordinance amending Chapter 150 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as amended for the purpose of rezoning real property.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-9 on the second reading.
Second. Motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-9 on its second reading. Phyllis, would have roll call vote, please?
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sirk.
Yes. Make a motion to suspend the rules and to place ordinance 2019-9 on its third reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance, to suspend the rules and place ordinance 2019-9 on its third reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-9, short title, an ordinance amending Chapter 150 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as amended for the purpose of rezoning real property.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-9 on its third reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-9 on its third reading. All would have roll call vote.
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sirk.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2019-9 has been adopted. Now, are we still going to do the vacation one?
Now that you've held your public hearing, you vacate the alley by an ordinance. So I have an ordinance to vacate the alley as requested by the applicant. It's ordinance number 2019-10. And again, I would ask that you introduce this by short title only and then adopt it on all three readings by suspending the rules this evening as well.
Would it be easier just to read it twice and then wait until it's okay?
They close
to
it.
read the third time?
Well, it's going to be a while before they close, so what we will do is we'll adopt it, but we won't record it. If we don't record it, the vacation is not effective. So,
Makes sense. Okay.
because they're not going to have they're going to need to know, one of the contingencies of a purchase agreement, if I understand, is that this has to be done. So they have to be assured that it's been completed. They won't know that if you haven't taken final action on it.
What if it falls through and then do we have
If
to
it falls
amend
through,
the ordinance?
If it falls through, we will not record the alley, or we won't vacate the alley unless we're directed by the applicant to go ahead and record the
We
instrument.
have an ordinance saying that the alley was vacated.
It's not effective until it's recorded.
So what do we do with it? Tear it up then, if that's the case?
If the applicant says that then we would include in the minutes that the applicant has made the request not to vacate the alley, and, we would rescind the vacation.
I'll make a motion then to place ordinance 2019-10 on its first reading by short title only.
Second. Motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-10 on its first reading by short title only. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-10, short title. An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, which vacates a portion of a platted alley which alley was dedicated in the plat of Eliza J. McConaughey, subdivision of outlot number 261 in Cook's addition to the City of Decatur, Adams County, Indiana, shown in the Office of the Recorder of Adams County, Indiana.
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-10 on its first reading.
Second. Motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-10 on its first reading. Whatever roll call vote.
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-10 on its second reading by short title only.
Second. A motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-10 on its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-10, short title. An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, which vacates a portion of a platted alley which alley was dedicated in the plat of Eliza J. McConaughey, subdivision of outlot number 261 in Cook's addition to the City of Decatur, Adams County, Indiana, shown in the Office of the Recorder of Adams County, Indiana.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-10 on its second reading.
Second. A motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-10 on its second reading. Whatever roll call vote, please.
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules to place ordinance 2019-10 on its third reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and place ordinance 2019-10 on its third reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-10, short title, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, which vacates a portion of a platted alley which alley was dedicated in the plat of Eliza J. McConaughey, subdivision of outlot number 261 in Cook's addition to the City of Decatur, Adams County, Indiana, shown in the Office of the Recorder of Adams County, Indiana.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-10 on its third reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-10 in its third and final reading. Would have roll call vote, please.
Kim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
No.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes.
By a vote of 4 to 1, ordinance 2019-10 has been adopted. Thank you, Justin.
Have a good night.
You too?
Great. If you voted no, don't sign it. It's passed anyway. I wouldn't sign it.
What do I do? Circle initials?
Nothing.
I'll keep that copy.
Okay. Next thing up, we discussed this in our Board of Works meeting this evening.
I'll stay in for you to come with the
And that is the River Greenway Grant DNR Covenant. Tim, you need to speak about that again here at the council meeting, right?
Well, basically, the Board of Works has approved this, so we'll just, real briefly, when the River Greenway was done back in 1985, the location of the River Greenway was submitted with a grant application to DNR, which funded in part the construction of the Greenway. The various instruments that were used to acquire the location for the River Greenway were to include a covenant that for some reason was not included in those instruments back in 1985. So one of the things that we're going to have to do is include that restrictive covenant in various deeds or easements that we acquired back then. So we're working on that, but that includes property north of the Monroe Street, between Jackson Street and Monroe Street, and on both sides of the river. So what that means then is we're going to have to deed the property to the Park and Rec Department, and then the restrictive covenant will be included in that. So we're working on that. DNR has required that, even though it was done over 30 years ago. They're saying that we have to have it done because U.S. Park Services is where the funds came from. They require that in any time of grants. So we're just following through. Should have been done back then. We're trying to get it accomplished now. So, Jeremy, that's one of the things I'll need to talk to you about after the meeting. If you can bring that up to the park board.
And you find out in a lot of these properties, many properties are owned by the city, but once you put them in the park system, or you apply for grants for park projects, it has to go in the park's name, and it also has to have
These restrictive covenants.
put on the deed, so it cannot be pulled out later on.
Right. And for whatever reason, it wasn't done back then. DNR caught it when we were doing the nature preserve because it's right next to the River Greenway, and they said, oh, well, we need this. So,
I've had to do this with the county on.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're unique. For whatever reason back then, apparently they were fairly lax on this, and the people today aren't. So we're trying to comply. So, we had the approval from the board to go forward with this, so we'll proceed, and we'll get that finished up as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Motion, right?
Thank you, Tim. Next thing is the sewer bond refunding timetable from our 2008 sewer bond.
I talked to Patty Zomer, I talked to Landon Bem and Jennifer Wilson, been a bunch of emails, but basically going back and forth. What they're now talking about is trying to move up the closing to early November. And so at your next meeting, there will be a bond ordinance introduced. It'll be read on 2 readings and then adopted at the first meeting in October, unless Patty, and she's checking this out, determines that we have to have it all done at the September 17th meeting in order to meet that. The reason that Hilliard Lyons is proposing moving that up is that their concern is that interest rates might go back up, and they want to take advantage of the low interest rates at this point. They think you get a favorable interest rate, more so if you move it up and instead of waiting to December. There's some question about whether you have to pay an accrued 60-day interest period, and Jennifer Wilson and Hilliard Lyons are trying to figure out how that can be worked around. But even if you had to pay that 60 days, they think it's still worth moving it up to do it. So I think what you're going to see is things will start at the next meeting, and then things will probably move pretty rapidly from there. I don't know that there's going to be a tremendous amount of documentation that's going to have to be approved by council, as much as some internal things that we'll work through as far as the official statement. Kevin and Phyllis and I will probably be working more on that. So, but that's kind of the time frame of when they're looking to try to get this finished up. And if they can do that, they might actually have a bit more savings than what they originally projected. So, okay. So next meeting, you'll have the bond ordinance.
Ordinance at the next meeting. And speaking of ordinances, we've had 2, we got a 3rd one. We have a salary ordinance for 2020. Do you have that one, Phyllis? Somewhere in there, huh?
We talked at the Board of Works of adjusting the salary ordinance for next year. The park employee that we're budgeting for will split between utilities and MPH street fund.
going to actually be a
It'll be a
public works
public
employee.
works employee instead, so we could go ahead and read this, can't we, Tim, on
As-
two readings? and
What
then
I would do is have somebody make a motion to amend the ordinance to reflect that, and then we'll read it with, as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second to proceed with the ordinance with the amendments that we discussed in the Board of Works meeting in reference to funding of the new employee that was going to be a Park Board employee, but will now be a Public Works employee funded by multiple departments. With that, I would look for a motion to introduce.
He made the motion to, is there a second? And
Okay,
then we
all in
have to
favor?
vote.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay.
What number is it? This is going to be number 11?
11?
I'll make a motion then to place ordinance 2019-11 on its first reading by short title only,
As amended.
as amended.
Thank you.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance, this is 2019-11, in its first reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-11, short title, an ordinance fixing the salaries and wages for employees of the city of Decatur, Indiana for the year 2020.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-11 on its first reading with as amended.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-11 as amended. Would I have roll call vote?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-11 on its second reading by short title only as amended.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-11 in its second reading by short title only as amended. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-11, short title, an ordinance fixing the salaries and wages for employees of the city of Decatur, Indiana for the year 2020.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-11 on its second reading as amended.
Second. I have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2019-11 as amended. Would I have a roll call vote, please?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to table ordinance 2019-11 for its third reading.
Second. A motion and a second to table ordinance 2019-11 until our next meeting, September 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I gotta do the elected.
Excuse me?
Now we need to do the elected officials.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Now we have another ordinance, folks. This is for the elected officials' salaries.
Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-12 on its first reading by short title only.
Second. A motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-12 in its first reading by short title only. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Tim.
Ordinance number 2019-12, short title, an ordinance establishing salaries to be paid to the elected officials of the city of Decatur, Indiana for the year 2020.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-12 on its first reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-12 on its first reading. Would I have a roll call vote, please?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-12 on its second reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-12 on its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-12, short title, an ordinance establishing salaries to be paid to the elected officials of the city of Decatur, Indiana for the year 2020.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-12 on its second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2019-12 on its second reading. Would I have a roll call vote, Phyllis?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. I'll make a motion to table ordinance 2019-12 for its third reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second to table ordinance 2019-12 until September 17th at our next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And if I'm not mistaken, We have one more ordinance yet tonight. Is that right, Phyllis?
I'm going to postpone it.
You're gonna postpone it?
I want to make some amendments. to
Okay,
it.
that was the seat of...
Okay, so we don't have to do
Sorry
that.
about that.
Thank you. That was the one for the capital improvements, let's see, yeah, okay. Next thing I have is just making it a matter of record, and that is an appointment to the Decatur Housing Authority. This replaces a vacancy that we've had for some time. Jack Macklin heads that group, and we have, this is replacing Brian Andrews, who, like I said, went off several months ago. And we've appointed Jane Drummer, who will serve, where does it say her date that she's going to serve from? Effective August 14th, and will terminate December 31st of 2020, and then she could be reappointed at that time, a year from now. Jane is a retired school teacher, and wants to be involved. So this is great. So I just need to make this a matter of record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all. That's all I have. Tim, did you have anything this evening other than what we've already covered?
You've heard enough from me, so I don't think so. I think most of the stuff I had was Board of Works.
How was it housing?
We'll do that next time.
Okay. Phyllis, do you have anything more?
Thank you.
Council members have anything more? Lenny?
Just a couple things. This Thursday, Officer Dan McGill and Nathan Hunter graduate from the academy. So me and field officers, we're going to go down there and view the ceremony and congratulate them. They'll start next Monday. We'll have a full 19 staff until Mitchell goes next year. So I'm very excited about that.
Great.
And then one more thing, recently in the paper, I sent 2 employees to get car seat trained, and that's been working out phenomenally. They've been busy, and Luke and Amy come up with a good idea. They want to host a Saturday event, so they can do a bunch of cars in one day, so that's coming up in the future. So hoping to send a couple more next year, so that's all I got.
It's a good thing. I remember my days of being a grandpa with little babies and trying to figure out how to get that thing in our back seat, and I got it in, but I wasn't sure it was right, so it's a good thing. Kevin?
Water plant's been along. One of the things is all the walls are done, backfilled, ready for a lid. The foundation walls should be finished here in the next week or so, and the building will start going up in about a month.
Cool. Kurt? Les?
Recently, this past week, we received a grant from the Walnut Foundation for the smoke detector program. I just wanted to remind people in the community that if you are in need of smoke detectors and you are a property owner, get with us. We'll take a look, and we've got a way to replace some of those. I won't say we'll replace them all in your house, but we can replace some of them, and if they need to get with us, we don't hand them out, we install them. We'll also do batteries, but thanks to Walmart for $3,000 through their foundation grant for the TAP program and continue. But people need to get with us, and there are detectors available, and just need to call the station, schedule a time.
It's a good thing. Thank you, Walmart. Thanks, Fire Department. Don?
Working on the hand of nothing.
Carrie?
No.
Bill?
No.
Jeremy? For the record, you want to update?
Congratulations next week.
Heavy trash is next week.
I can say something there.
Go ahead, Bill.
If there's something in your yard that you haven't touched for over a year, take it to the curb.
Got that, media? Does he need to say that again for you guys?
Sounds
sounds like a good title for a Friday column to me. Take it to the curb.
Also, the Second Street sidewalk project's coming along nicely. Majority of the concrete work is done. I received a call this afternoon that the brick should be delivered tomorrow. I can't guarantee a start date on the brick, but it appeared that it will be sometime this week. So, the rest of the light poles will go up tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get it all wired up, get it turned on. That block is pretty dark in there.
Are the ones on the other side of the street on?
Over the weekend they were.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they were on during the day today.
Yeah.
Forgot to turn it on now.
They're just burning.
So, it'd be nice to get that project and a few others completed. Like Don said, we've been working on Canada, but it's coming along nicely. Still have a long ways to go, but it's still coming along. That's about it.
I know we don't need to be looking around for things for your guys to do right now. They've got plenty on their plate right now. Plenty on the plate. Melissa, you're good. Okay, I already asked council members.
I got a question, one thing.
Go ahead, Craig.
First of all, I'd like to thank the fire department for putting up the flags for German Fest. We had a very successful time, and a great turnout. I'd like to thank the mayor and also Sharon for presenting a key to the city and a proclamation to our guest from overseas, Germany, or from Bavaria. I'd like to thank the city department for Public Works for helping us with the tables and chairs and setting up of the tents and things, and also along with Parks and Rec for providing chairs and tables. Thank you very much. It was a good time. And this Sunday, we'll have our first Sunday concert. And thanks to the police department also. I know you guys worked a little bit over your time period, so thanks for your courteous help and cooperation. This Sunday, we've got two shows going to start. One's at 2 o'clock, and we'll go on till 3:30. I can't remember. Hot Rod Kings, isn't that what they're called? And then we've got the Naptown Royals, which will be from 4 to 6 on Madison Street Plaza. So, if you would.
Music all afternoon.
Yep.
Cool.
Moving to Sundays.
Look forward to some good weather.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. German Fest was another good event. It really was. And like you said, the teamwork from all the departments and Main Street and everybody else. Yeah, that was beautiful weather that day. It was just a good event. So, thanks everyone. Anything else? If not, I'd look for a motion. Excuse me. No, not yet. No. You know, I will say one thing here. I was just sharing with Phyllis that I just got a text message that a close friend of ours just passed away. The only reason I'll mention this is because this is kind of cool. If you got to go out, she was born today, and she died today. Yeah. Born and died on the same day, 70-some-odd years apart. So, I know that was kind of her family's wishes, is that she could leave us on her birthday, and she did it. So, God's timing. That's all I have. Now I'd look for a motion to pay the claims.
Second?
A motion and a second to pay the claims. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Second. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.